Hello, and welcome to this video. Today we are tackling yet another sort of love letter, but not quite. This concept is a concept that I just thought of out of nowhere, you know? I thought, why don't we talk about some hidden gems in different genres and in different just franchises, really, of games? And as you might be able to tell, I kinda like Five Nights at Freddy's, and I have talked about it before. So today, I thought we should talk about one of, arguably, in my opinion, the most hidden gems in the franchise, being Five Nights at Freddy's 6, technically, Pizzeria Simulator. So let's get into it. So, I'm about to open up my heart a little bit, okay? Obviously, I'm an OG, and you can call that cringe, and while it might be cringy, I am at least free, okay? And speaking of free, this game is free, so what are you doing? Get it immediately, just go grab it, whatever, do what you gotta do, okay? I'll wait patiently till you've played it through and then we can talk. Yes. So where do I even start? Okay, let's start with the concept. The concept of this game is so fun and whimsical to me. Like, hell yeah, I want to make a bad financial decision on behalf of pizza and Fazbears. Of course I do, who wouldn't want to do that? That's my whole thing about this, that it's just, the cutscenes are so hilarious and just so well made. It just fits the theme and the timing of the whole thing so well. Let me just show you a little clip of one of the trailers in the beginning. Trailers, I meant cutscenes, obviously.
And take a huge gamble on your future. A gamble that comes with a 100% chance of success in some cases.
But all the while that I get when people hear me say concept, they probably also think I'm talking about the gameplay. And of course I am as well, because I love the way that you get to build your own empire of, once again, Fazbears and pizza. It's the best thing ever. But I do also realize that most of the game also consists of our normal format of just sitting by the desk and being the security guard, sort of. Although it seems like you are just to finish some tasks for the day, and that's your main thing in Pizzeria Simulator. Except for, of course, also finding the best possible things to put in your pizzeria, such as animatronic games and all that, but I digress, we will be getting to that. I cannot move on from the cutscenes before talking about the, arguably, most important cutscene in the entire FNAF franchise. I will fight you on this. I definitely will. When I saw this cutscene, chills. And I almost cried, but I'm also very dramatic and emotional, so that doesn't really say a lot in that regard, but whatever. It was just, I cannot say anything else but to quote our guy Henry, who is speaking to us. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, old friend. I was just speechless. I mean, the whole shebang, like the whole thing that he goes on to say and speak about is definitely mind-boggling. It just really solidified an ending of the FNAF franchise for me. And I think a lot of people would tend to agree with me on that yes, we got Ultimate Custom Night, Security Breach, all that, but that right there solidified the ending. So to me, Burn Trap is definitely not canon because Henry already sent you on your way to hell, so there's no way that you're still here, my guy. Scrap Trap. No freaking way. So, but that's just my opinion on that. With this game, I also think there's a lot of replayability because it's not even certain that you're gonna get this said cutscene. Because if you don't salvage all the animatronics, like if you don't buy Lefty as well, I think you're not gonna get it. But yeah, I'm not really even certain about that. But Scrap Trap, definitely, you gotta get him. And Scrap Baby, Molten Freddy, of course. Once again, I digress. We're gonna get to the characters, and I mean all of them. So stay tuned. But I do think there's a lot of replayability in it because of the certificates, and you can always take a new like sort of feel to your pizzeria, and you can buy different animatronics. You can be at total liability risk and get sued off of this planet. You can do a lot of things and play in a lot of different ways and just make the pizzeria what you want it to be. The only thing that doesn't change that much is, of course, the play through, or the way the game mechanics work when you're in the office and you have to finish your tasks for the day. Other than the fact that you will be having more or less trouble depending on who you salvaged or who you didn't salvage or buy or whatever you may have it. Because you also, I think you can get a certificate for laziness or bare minimum or something. I don't remember what it's called, but I think I got that one before because I was like, well, if I just don't buy any of the liability stuff, I will not get killed. So that was definitely a bit of a dumb one for me, but whatever. I do understand that it can get quite repetitive, but you just gotta get over that, okay? You just gotta get over that. Now, we are talking about the characters. Okay, let's get into them. Let's get into why this is, in my opinion, almost the best roster of characters. I mean, you didn't hear from me. I mean, Sister Location is a close second for me because I love Funtime Freddy, but whatever. Once again, I digress. Let's go. Let's start it from the top. And I will say, justice for the mediocre melodies, okay? Yes, I recognize that that is a unpopular opinion and unpopular opinion, but I'm sorry. I'm gonna get into why that I like them, okay? First off, let's start with Happy Frog. I will already say that this is the only Funko Pop that I have from Pizzeria Simulator, so this makes no sense that I'm even showing you this, but anyway, there you go. Now, I know everybody hates them, I do, but apparently Happy Frog was trending on TikTok for a moment there, or just her voice line. I think it was this thing.
Everyone underestimates me, but then they turn their back and I'm like, boo!
But that wasn't even from Pizzeria Simulator, that was from Ultimate Custom Night. The internet is weird. Because I know one of my friends, she doesn't really know FNAF, but I played a song, You Can't Hide, I believe. It's where Funtime Freddy is like, you can't hide, or whatever. And she was like, oh, it's that TikTok song. And I'm like, no, it's that Five Nights at Freddy's song? What do you mean? But whatever. I digress. Apparently, it is trending sometimes. That was my point. While Happy Frog is not my favorite, I think it's fun that we finally get to see like a green animatronic that's not Springtrap, I guess. I don't know, and I love frogs, but she is definitely more on the annoying side and not my favorite mediocre melody, even though she's the only one I have a Funko Pop up for, whatever. Moving swiftly along to my actual favorite, which is, don't judge me now, it's Orville. I love Orville so much, and I will tell you why. I know what you're thinking. Why him? Like, why? He is so mediocre, for lack of a better word. It's because he's so just goofy and seems like such a gentleman, and he just is really sweet with his whole I don't get out much, so you'll have to forget my enthusiasm, when he literally just killed you. He just murdered you, but he was so kind about it, so who even cares? And he's a magician. I like that a lot. I like to see different things, that they're not just band members. Not that that's also pretty awesome, but it's the whole thing that is also a form of children's entertainment a lot of times, so that was really cool to see in him. But I just feel like he's just so humble. I don't know. He's just out there trying his best like the rest of us. And I also just think his design is quite cool. Like, I did not know that they could pull off an elephant. And I mean, we can of course discuss how well they did that or not, but I think, personally, they did a great job of just putting forth the essence of what an elephant animatronic would look like. His design is also just so wacky, you know. I know that a lot of people just find the mediocre melodies to be just straight up ugly, and that's fine. You can definitely think that's cool. And you know, I don't even think I disagree with it necessarily. I kind of like how ugly they are, you know? But his color, just the color palette of orange, is just so playful, and it just fits so well in regard to the other mediocre melodies. And just look at his big old feet. Look at those feet, okay? You cannot say that that is not perfection in an animatronic elephant, okay? You just cannot tell me that, because it is. It is just perfection. That's what it is. So, like, what's not to love? Probably a lot of things, but you know what? Let's move on. Now, next up is Pigpatch. He's also mad ugly. But I love that. He doesn't look like any other animatronic in the franchise to me. He has a very distinct face, and it's cool that he has different eyes, and like Animatronic once said, move over, pear-shaped girls. Pigpatch is the new star of the show for real. That is definitely paraphrasing. I will agree with her all the way. He is the pear of the shape of the everyone. That made no sense, but he is. Okay? You cannot disagree with that. Look at that. Curve. His banjo is also just so delightful. Like, okay, music genius, you're giving DJ Music Man and Music Man a run for his damn money. Okay, this is genius to me. And that brings me to his voice lines as well. His voice lines were so funny and memorable in my opinion, which is so funny that you can be called a mediocre melody and not even be that mediocre after all. How about that? Isn't that a life lesson? I love his voice. The southern flair is great. Now with one of my not so favorite mediocre melodies is Netbear. And I know my friend Kian will be screaming at the screen right now and will be like, why do you hate Netbear so much? I don't get it. Oh my god, I love him. Why do you love the others and not him? And I just think that, first of all, I think it's because he, to me, from the beginning, was just pretty much like a Freddy ripoff, which is also the fun thing about him, though. Like, he's extremely goofy as well, and of course he fits very well into the mediocre melodies, he definitely does. But I don't like him as much. I honestly always forget that he is a part of the mediocre melodies, maybe because he doesn't have the striking colors or something like that. But yeah, I don't know how to say it kindly. Netbear is just not my type. He's just not my type. And that's fine. We all have types and whatever. He's just not it for me. He's a little... I mean, he does have some funny lines in Ultimate Custom Night, but I think a lot of characters do. His, don't you hate getting killed by secondary obscure characters? Something like that. I like that a lot because he is definitely secondary and obscure and all of the above. So he gets a point for self-awareness for sure. Now, Mr. Hippo. He does have an unfair, like... Skal være fordel på engelsk? Thank you. He does have a very unfair advantage, being that... I love purple. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm not. What of course wins everybody over is his intensely long like voice lines when you die in Ultimate Custom Night. He's honestly a little bit forgettable in Pizzeria Simulator, but Ultimate Custom Night do tie all of these characters together to make them bigger than they were originally, if you ask me. That goes for all the mediocre melodies, I think. But it's so cute. Maybe that's also why I like Orville so much, because their friendship is just adorable. It's just adorable to me. So yeah, that's also why I like Mr. Hippo. He has his flair, he is funny, all of that. We have a bunch of characters to go through. So let's go with the rock stars next. First up, we have Rockstar Freddy, who is definitely one of the characters that I like a lot too, purely because of design and because of, well, he's awesome. And I mean, who wasn't terrified in Ultimate Custom Night by the please deposit 5 coins? Like, no, I don't want to do that. Mom, please pick me up. But yeah, he's really awesome. I like his design a lot, actually. I like their brighter colors on them, purple hat he's wearing. I like the purple accents and everything like that on him. So yeah, that is Rockstar Freddy for me. Rockstar Bonnie is looking terrifying, at least in Ultimate Custom Night to me. Like, look at the way he's like looking. Ooh, scary. But I also like his design design. He looks a little more mellow, like relaxed. Like it feels like you could just chow down with your buddy Bonnie, and that just seems nice. I love their star stomachs and stuff as well. So that's a little detail. Rockstar Chica is a little ugly. Like maybe it's because she has a little too much going on with the lipstick and the blue accents. I don't know if I would have picked for her. Maybe I would have, because it does make her a little bit more dynamic, but maybe some green would have been better. I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter. It just, she's okay. She's okay to me. Rockstar Foxy is amazing. I really love the addition of the peg leg, his harmonica, and of course, his little bird. That is adorable, just really pushing through with the pirate theme. I think they really did great with this one, and low-key, if I didn't like this so much, I feel like he would just be amazing with that in the beginning as well. Like, I feel like they could have started Foxy off looking like that, but to be honest, maybe that would have been a little too much, because Foxy has already always been the favorite animatronic, arguably, so maybe if they gave him all those details, people would either love him less or more. I'm not really sure, but definitely love this addition. Now, I think that a little guy named Lefty is a part of the Rockstars as well. Lefty is amazing. Lefty is really a character that I did not expect. I love that he's a black bear, just design-wise, I think it's cute, and with the red accents, it's just a great choice. And of course, the seemingly obvious fact that he is named after being left-handed is pretty funny too. And his just black eye, like he's just creepy from the get-go. He seems quite budgety. Out of all the Rockstar animatronics, he looks like he's the one who's gonna fall apart at any moment, and that's fine. But of course, we cannot talk about Lefty without talking about a little bit about Lefty lore. Like, who knew that he was gonna be a puppet trap? I sure as hell did not know that. It's... wow, just justice for Charlie, for real. And I'm sorry, Henry, you and your little family. It's just really heartwarming and wild. Once again, the ending scene that once again, in my opinion, honestly ended everything. Absolutely. Just next level. Yeah. Blown away. And now I want to talk a little bit about the more obscure. We're not getting to the obscure yet, but we will get there, so hang on tight. Let's talk a bit about the other group of animatronics. So let's start with Funtime Chica. How funny is it to see her? I really like that a lot, even though she's the most expensive animatronic, so a material girl in our presence for sure. But it's awesome to see her. I think you're in her in Security Breach. I think there's been a lot of theories about that anyway, and I do believe it. It really does look like you're inside Chica because of the sort of beak situation. Like the smile is like beakish, and it looks a lot like her. I really like her design, honestly. I like that she's white, because chicks can also be white, right? I really like it. I think it's quite cute, and she's very feminine. I mean, don't get distracted, but whatever. She's definitely cool, and I like her little cupcake, and I think she's fun. Yeah, a solid character in this game. And then we have El Chip, which is obviously a homage to Scott's older games with Chipper and Sons, I think it's called. I will correct myself if not. And I think it's just a fun homage, but not my favorite character. Definitely looks like a beaver, and it's fun, and reminds me of how hungry I am for Mexican food. But no, it's cool. It's okay. I like El Chip. He's fine. Not my favorite, but I don't hate him at all either. So there you go. Now, someone I do hate, however, is Music Man. So when I first played, or even just saw Music Man, I was like, oh. Now this game has terrified me before, but I have not been like inherently scared of the characters necessarily, not even really the nightmares. There's something about the way I think Music Man is just too humanoid and too spider-like for me to like that combination. It's just concerning how scared I was in the beginning of just this little, honestly obscure character. Maybe it didn't help with his super terrifying voice lines in Ultimate Custom Night. You hear that? It's the sound of your sweet eternal silence, or whatever he said. Like, now that is truly a mom come pick me up moment, but that's so scary, oh my goodness. But his blacked out eyes, and okay, I don't know why I'm playing. It's for sure his mouth. For me, it's for sure his mouth. It's just so jarring to me. which is funny because he has a big jaw. But I don't know why I don't mind DJ Music Man as much, even though he's like huge. Maybe it's also because he has that like he reminds me of the monkeys from Dark Deception a little bit with his, what are they called, tambourines? What are they called? Anyway, but he is definitely spooky. And once again, I think it's the combination of the humanoidness and the spideriness and just, ooh, he's almost too like analog horror for me. It has nothing to do with that, but it's just his mouth. I don't like him. I don't want to talk about him anymore, okay? He's too much and he's too large. Not in Security Breach, but I mean, DJ Music Man is, but we're not talking about that game, so let's move on to the more very obscure characters, okay? Actually, first, let's go through the ones that are not so obscure. Never mind. And we have our iconic Dangerous 3, or I guess you could say 4, because Lefty is also one of them, but we have talked about our little guy Lefty, so it doesn't matter. We have Scrap Baby. What a cool ass design. I don't think they could have made this any better or worse. I just think she looks awesome. I have no idea how she got roller skates, but I support her. Not only do I support women's rights, but I support women's wrongs. So I don't even care how she got those. Probably stole them, who knows? Probably killed maybe we shouldn't talk about that. Too soon? Sorry, Elizabeth. She's just overall awesome, and it's just also great that she's like, you're here to die, and then Henry's like, you've been misinformed, bitch, get out. So yeah, I like it. I love it. It's the best thing ever. Scrap Trap is really freaking ugly. This design is quite ugly. I think that's a very common take or thing to think about in the community. So I honestly don't have much to say about that other than I think it really works. Like, he looks a little more disheveled. Like, he looks extremely different from the Springtrap that we know from Five Nights at Freddy's 3. So I think that's a bit of a problem, but it adds to it. It adds to the atmosphere that he's that ugly, but ugly, and you can really like see his corpse mouth. Neat, isn't that just neat? No, but I think he's cool, and I also like his voice lines, so I don't mind him too much. But yeah, definitely an annoying little guy for sure. And then we have Molten Freddy. I genuinely forget how awesome this character is every single time I just sit down to think about FNAF, like I do often. He is one of the animatronics who genuinely makes me the most uncomfortable with the salvaging process. He just looks at me weird. I mean, they all do, but he especially just creeps me out. I don't know if it's because he goes from like being slanted and then just, I am looking right at you. I don't like that. I think it's terrifying. It's terrifying, but it's well done. And I mean, once again, we will not compare him to the Blob because no, that is something else entirely. But he is awesome. But I think it's good that he got to burn at last, like the rest of them. A little quick honorable mention to our guy Helpy. So cute. Okay, that's another thing that I just absolutely love about this game is just the presence of Helpy helping you fix your lawsuits, testing out the things you've bought, like the ball pit where he breaks his neck. He breaks his neck all the time, but you know what? Sacrifice is sometimes needed for just good stuff to come. And apparently that was Lefty's thing, that he has to sacrifice himself, so whatever. But yeah, he's just adorable. I think everybody can agree with that. He's just really cute. I wonder what happened to him. Did he die in the fire too? I hope not. And now, it's truly time for the obscure ones. Number 1, Crate. So I kind of like and hate this concept at the same time. The Trash Gang, I think they're called, right? So it's number 1 Crate, Mr. Can Do, Mr. Hugs, and Panstan is his name, right? And Bucket Bob. How could I forget about Bucket Bob? I'll just talk about them in one whole thing because are you kidding me? I'm honestly a little bit surprised that we haven't seen this before because FNAF is just known to be cheap, or not necessarily the game, but just in general, they cut corners like Fazbear Entertainment does. So that is really funny that that's the first thing you can buy and they have to offer. But yeah, and now for some of my personal favorites, it's Fruit Punch Clown and Lemonade Clown. It's just so fun to have them. I mean, once again, you can argue whether or not these are actually characters or if they're just items or whatever you want to call them, but they're funny. They're a fun addition to your floor, to your pizzeria, okay? They just are. Actually, I forgot a little something, which was Security Puppet. Security Puppet is extremely expensive, so it's not always that you can get them in the first try, but Security Puppet helps with the lore, definitely. Once again, rest in peace, Charlie. That's all I gotta say. Security Puppet's design is fun. I like the hat. I like the fact that it comes out of the huge gift. Very OG. But I don't have that much of an opinion on Security Puppet other than that, to be honest with you. Now, Candy Cadet. Candy Cadet is such a cool character. Very obscure and very did not know we needed this, but I'm happy that we got it. Just a candy machine that tells you horror stories occasionally. I have actually yet for him to tell me a story, but I know he does tell stories. So Candy Cadet, where you at? We need to have story time, okay? I have not heard your stories yet, although I have, but not for myself, so please tell me a story, Candy Cadet. I think that's it for the characters for now. I will go in to talk a little bit about the soundtrack. So as you might be able to hear, I have put some of the music in the background of this video because it's just so lovely. Isn't it? I couldn't think of a better thing to hear after just getting absolutely jump scared to your death. Great, just happy days, happy music. It's just great, a jolly old time, okay? I like that a lot. I think it's really funny, and it's very contradicting, which I think is FNAF's honestly specialty sometimes. They make very contradictory stuff that makes you think, oh, I'm safe, but no, you're not. Kind of like Doki Doki Literature Club. It's just, they know what they're doing for sure. But it also fits very well with the whimsical feel of just the game in general. I think the music is an absolute great choice. It just works. The visuals of this game are also great because it's just whimsical and colorful and nice, and yeah, I just really like what they've done with it. I mean, you can make it as colorful or as non-colorful as you want it to be, but if you want a colorful pizzeria, you can damn well get one. So I must say that even though it's whimsical, the office is not. Of course it's not. I will say that it's honestly one of the offices that low-key scared me the most. Because, are you kidding me with that clown picture? It honestly low-key gets me every time. Every time I turn my head, I'm like, okay, there's the clown. And I just think that he's there to kill me, but he is literally just a picture a kid probably drew. So why am I scared of it? You tell me. But I'm sure I'm not the only one who can relate to this notion that it is definitely scary. Even though it's just a damn picture of a clown that someone drew, but I don't like it. It's not as bad with the other pictures, but the clown gets me, man. I don't know what to say. One thing that I truly did brush over is definitely the mini games, so I will be getting a little bit more in depth in this part of the video because that cannot be neglected. It just simply cannot. They're just too funny and too lore-filled to ignore, so let's get right into the simple and first ones. First off, we have the balloon barrel one, which just entails Helpy picking a balloon and then you did it, it's amazing, and there's not much else to it, but it is definitely fun. Then there's the one where Helpy jumps into a little bit of a box that's a ball pit, and well, he either does that or he breaks his damn neck. So either way, it is a fun one, and just be careful. Don't kill Helpy now. Okay, he really does not deserve that, but it does happen. So, poor Helpy, for sure. And there's the cute little duck pond where you pick ducks and then you get points. Quite simple, but definitely super fun. And yeah, I love these games. Come on now, they're just so wholesome. Then there's Candy Cadet, who either refuses to tell you stories or does tell you a story, but if he doesn't, he will just give you candy and be his ever pleasant self. Candy. Yeah, you know all that good stuff. That's what he'll do to you. And there's the ball pit one where you fish for prize eggs, and you can either get prizes or you can't. So good luck to you on that one. Then there's the basketball game, where you have to get 20 baskets to score the jackpot. And it's actually really fun, and I get very intense with it for no reason. So yeah, enjoy that one very much so. There's also a monkey bar one that pretty much works as the same concept as the basketball one, where you just have to like enter your space car, my god, this is not Freddy in space. No, but yeah, that's the premise of that, and that's fun too. And then there's of course both Fruit Punch Clown and Lemonade Clown, and their premises are both the same. You have to scare a bunch of kids with lemonade or fruit punch, just fruit punch for everyone! And then they get really, really scared, but you get points and money for scaring the kids. This is Freddy Fazbear's, after all, right? There's the space rocket one, where you have to kill pizzas, or they'll kill you. Whoever gets to each other first. I thought this one is also really fun, to be honest. Not expected, but it's definitely fun for sure. Other iterations of the balloon picking game and the ball pit game. So even though they're the upgraded version, they are still pretty much the same thing, but they are more aesthetically pleasing, of course. There's the gravity vortex, which is pretty much the same concept as the space blaster one as well, because you're in space and crazy balloon boys come at you and you have to shoot them, and that is really everybody's dream, is it not? Like, now come on now. So when talking about the Fruity Maze bit, we get into a lot of lore, and I will start to explain it just a little bit here. Stay tuned. After the player successfully collects all the fruits, the minigame will become more decrepit the next time they play, which means that most of the orange fruits are replaced with dead dogs and the music slows down just a little bit. The girl in the background, then you can see when you get like more time or stuff like that, will have a sad frown and will start to tear up because of said dead dog. After the player has collected all of the items for a second time, the minigame will come even more distorted and more disturbing. Lightning power-ups no longer work, like they're just not accessible. The dead dogs are now mutilated, just completely run over and are like smiling but full of blood, and it's just, yeah, bad. The two other fruits are then replaced with coffins and flowers, signifying the dog's death, I'm assuming. And the music grows even slower, and a large number of Spring Bonnie figures will randomly appear, immune to the player. The player girl now leaves a trail of blood puddles behind, and the time will run out no matter how far the player makes it, so you don't get more time when picking up the coffin and flowers and stuff. This time, William Afton in a Spring Bunny suit will appear behind the now mournful Susie. When the game ends, William convinces her to follow him. He says, "He's not really dead. He's over here. Follow me." Presumably speaking about the dog that Susie lost. And it is no longer playable after that, the minigame, because you have then finished the purpose of it, pretty much just showing you that part of the lore. It's actually then been speculated that Susie is indeed one of the first victims in the missing children's incident, and it is also further theorized that she would later go on to possess Chica. This is also sort of confirmed in Coming Home, where Chica takes the spirit of a murdered girl named Susie. So it's also another, but it's a quite infamous one, a theory that states that the Susie's dying dog would later become Mangle, since the dog appears to have one of its eyes missing, much like Mangle. But I don't think that that one has been confirmed, but it is definitely a lore-filled minigame that you would maybe not even think that it would be, but it sure is. Now, Midnight Motorist is also a bit of a doozy in this regard. In this minigame about the lore, if the player drives through the gap in the bottom border of the screen that you can see right now, they will be transported to a new area. The music will change, and the player will start to control a car as they drive through a windy road in a rainy forest. Very spooky-like. Eventually, the player will reach a fork in the road and have the option to go either west or south. If the player goes west, they will arrive at a location with a neon sign labeled Juniors, which there's been a fan game made of the Juniors location. Go check it out if you'd like. You probably know this, but let's go. In the parking lot, they will then get out of their car, showing the player to be a mostly featureless and yellow stick figure. I see him to be a bit orange though, but people say yellow. Walking towards the juniors building, they are greeted by a green man who prevents them from entering, telling them, "Come on, you know you can't be here. Don't make this more difficult than it has to be." From here, the player may return to their car and go south. Alternatively, if the player goes back up north and turns west, they will find another secret area off the road. The player will get out of the car and may walk around a cleared area of forest. The upper left corner of this area there is a mound, which may be interpreted as a burial ground. Grave. Upon going south from the fork, the player will arrive at their house. Inside the house upon entering, you can see a person dressed in grey, sitting in an armchair and staring at the television. Attempting to interact with them will cause them this message box to display. "Leave him alone tonight. He had a rough day." Going up to the next room, the player will attempt to enter another person's room, but the door is closed shut. The player will say, "I told you not to close the door." Walking away from the door backwards towards the first room, another box will appear, the player saying, "This is my house, he can't ignore me like that." Approaching the door for the second time, the player will shout, "Open the door!" There will seem to be no response. Walking away again, another text box will appear. "I'll find a way in from its outside." To advance from here, the player must leave the house and go around the outside to the back. Here they will find a shattered window and footprints, along with a pair of rabbit-like footprints, quite suspicious, next to the window. The player's character deduces the following words. "Ran off to that place again. He'll be sorry when he gets back." The minigame ends here and returns to the Pizzeria simulator screen. There are so many different theories as to the identity of the yellow man that was depicted in this part of the minigame, but none of them have been fully confirmed as of yet, although there are some evidence to support all of them. So I will not be going through, honestly, any of them, other than the fact that the runaway kid is speculated to be the crying child who ran away because of his father, William, who people do think is the yellow/orange man, but there's no way of actually knowing, although there are many theories as to who it is and what the whole Junior's incident is as well. But regardless of the identity, it is still really interesting. Now last, but definitely not least, we have the security puppet minigame. In this minigame, the player controls the puppet to prevent a child with a green security bracelet, corresponding to the puppet's green pupils, just for a little fact, from reaching the exit. However, the assigned child will not appear, and only children with pink, yellow, and blue bracelets will appear. Touching a child will result in the minigame ending. After playing the minigame 3 times, the player will notice that a child is outside the building. The puppet is prevented from helping because a box is played on top of its box, trapping it inside. The child will then start to jump up and down, revealing that they're the assigned child with the green security bracelet. They slowly fade away as the puppet is free and able to move again. It goes outside, but is slowly damaged by the rain. If the puppet keeps going to the right, it will encounter the assigned child's dead body. At this point, the puppet has been severely damaged by the rain and crawls next to the dead child's body, deactivating and falling next to the corpse. And as we all know, this is what happened to Charlie. So that's that on that. So, with all that being said, I hope that you now know why I think, and hopefully so many other people think, that FNAF 6 Pizzeria Simulator is a hidden gem, and why we need to appreciate it just a smidgen, just a little bit more, because it just has so much to offer, and it really truly did give us original FNAF fans something to just be like, oh, it's over. And I'm not mad about it, even though it's not at all over. Of course, we all know this. And with the movie coming out, you guys, we are being blessed. Hopefully. My god, I hope I don't jinx anything. Don't come back to me if the movie sucks. My god. I hope it won't. It won't. Maybe it will. No, it won't. But with that being said, tell me if there's something you think I missed about Pizzeria Simulator, or tell me if you totally disagree and you think that it's the worst one in the franchise, but you have to tell me why. Because I will not agree with that statement at all, unless you come with valid arguments. Like you think the place might smell really bad. I don't know, something like that, okay? I need answers. But other than that, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye!